Welcome everybody. I am the air quotes comedian, a man who is to comedy what a Wall Street hedge fund is to ending poverty, and this is the Polemics Podcast. Welcome. The disparity in sentencing for crimes in the USA is jaw-droppingly, amazingly, inscrutably, mind-bogglingly, disparate, depending on the colour of one's skin or level of wealth. A CEO fiddles the books and screws over a raft of people for millions of dollars, is found guilty and gets a pat on the head and a commemorative gold watch. A homeless person steals a penny candy from the bodega, is found guilty and is executed by firing squad, which is a real way of being executed in some states of the USA. That's right, folks. Reality itself has become a comedian, and I'm shortly going to be out of a job. As Stalin famously said, steal a dollar and you're a thief. Steal $1 billion and that's just statistics. The justice system is anything but just, and henceforth I shall refer to it by its proper name, the industrial carceral complex. The USA has the highest incarceration rate of any country in the world, even higher than the People's Republic of McPrisonstan. 99% of the entire US population is incarcerated, and the other 1% just have no outstanding warrants at this time, which is how police describe the innocent. One aspect of prison demographics is that people of colour are overrepresented, even though their propensity for crime is on a par with white people, which is what happens when police are overrepresented in communities of colour for whatever systemically racist reason that might be. I don't hear many white people, of which I am one, calling for better racial representation in the nation's prison systems, but have one too many coloured people in the latest iteration of Star Trek and they scream blue fucking murder about having diversity rammed down their throat. So, how does one go about creating the world's biggest prison population? Well, you have to start with the young people with something called the school to prison pipeline, which is kind of like those pneumatic tubes they have at the drive-through bank, except police personnel are involved. School detention or suspension isn't good enough anymore for students of colour or poor students of colour. No, those people need to be arrested, parcelled up into the carrier and fired up that pneumatic tube straight into jail. Zero tolerance policies have fostered a whole new arena of blind injustice. No weapons are allowed in school, which is perfectly reasonable, unless you're looking to participate in America's favourite pastime, school shootings. But broad definitions as to what constitutes a weapon leads to insanity, like 8-year-old Bobby McGee getting the cuffs slapped on him for making finger guns at little Susie McSusie-Q. A lot of schools have police in them, and while they are there to hide behind the bleachers when a school shooting is in progress, it turns out school shootings are pretty rare despite what the fear-mongering sensationalist media want you to believe so they can shift a few more copies of their crap to keep those dollars rolling in. So, with school shootings being as rare as a cop not abusing their authority, what's the police to do rather than playing with their baton? Maybe arrest some students who had the notion that backtalking the teacher was a good idea. Welcome to your first appearance in juvenile court, kid. The sentence this time will be light, but if we see you here again, we'll know you're a hardcore criminal and the sentence will be draconian. Whoever thought instigating the broken windows policy in schools, probably a fucking Republican, I don't know, but whoever thought of doing it was a cunt. I mean, what's next? Shall we slap the cuffs on toddlers of colour for stamping their feet when they don't get their own way? Will police shoot a 2-year-old down in a hailstorm of bullets because they're a person of colour toddling around in a white neighbourhood, possibly explaining away their actions by exclaiming that the 2-year-old looked like a fully grown man? Will the cops be waiting in the delivery room on the maternal ward because a newly born baby of colour might one day sass a cop after being needlessly harassed by a cop? Yeah, say police, this newborn baby of colour might one day do something we don't like, such as merely existing, so we might as well slap the cuffs on now before he or she takes a fatal stumble down the fucking stairs. Will we possibly see cops at the prenatal clinic utilising tools for endoscopic surgery so they can slap the handcuffs on a fetus of colour that hasn't even developed hands yet? Yeah, I know, that last one is ridiculous. I mean, nobody would expect a cop how to use such a simple tool when they can't even tell the difference between a lightweight, brightly coloured plastic taser and a fucking handgun. It's not all doom and gloom though, folks. Because the US industrial carceral complex is designed to be a revolving door for those people who society perceives as irredeemable, there has been some recognition that the school-to-prison pipeline was a very bad idea, and some schools have removed the police from their premises. Some schools recognise that zero tolerance is fucking stupid because, as with everything in life, there are shades of grey. Even Nazis have shades of grey, you know, when they're wearing their Wehrmacht-style Nazi pyjamas. Violent crime has seen a dramatic decline in America over the last 30 years or so. Not that you'd fucking know it if you believe the fear-mongering news media. According to CNN and the like, you can't even look through your living room window without getting gang raped or having your head blown off in a torrent of gunfire or having some 5-year-old person of colour wandering too close to your lawn because your kid left their bike out right in the middle of the sidewalk. With a sharp decline in violent crime, you'd expect to see the prison population grow smaller also, which is much like having an expectation that a conservative could pass themselves off as an actual human being or even something vaguely resembling one. So why is it that the prison population is growing despite a declining police presence, as they're not needed as much anymore because violent crime is practically non-existent now? Oh, wait, my bad. That's not what is happening, is it? Police presence and budgets are always increasing. I feel fucking safer already. Another way to constantly grow the prison population is to target the most vulnerable people in society. The mentally ill, drug addicts, sex workers, homeless people, protesters, and the desperately poor. There are so many laws on the books that there is a 100% probability that you committed some kind of felony today, which doesn't matter so much if your skin is milky white, but might be a problem if your flesh is of a different hue. Added to which is that all police are patrolling the high crime areas of town, i.e. the non-white neighbourhoods. White people are always complaining that you can never find a policeman when you need one. Now you know why. Racism. Once you become enmeshed in the carceral industrial complex, it's harder to get out of it than student debt, which is a feature of the system rather than a bug. Once out of prison for serving your time for the crime of jaywalking with intent to vote Democrat, you won't find a job because everybody thinks convicted criminals are subhuman pieces of garbage incapable of learning from a mistake. Your right to vote is taken away, but funnily enough, not your right to be taxed. The government isn't going to provide housing for you, something they're not really big on in the best of circumstances, but when it comes to ex-cons, you can fucking forget it. That shit is right out for the likes of you. If you get paroled from prison, then you're in for a clusterfuck of epic proportions. Late to a meeting to see your parole officer because the bus was attacked by the Hedgehog Underground, back to prison you go. Your parole officer notices that you didn't button your shirt all the way up. Back to prison you go. You accidentally slipped on a wet floor and inadvertently rammed a nail-encrusted baseball bat up your parole officer's arse. Good for you. If you hadn't guessed, I'm for prison abolition. But what will replace the current system, Patrick? I hear you ask. To which I respond, that's the end of this episode of The Polemics. Be sure to hit the dislike button and then piss off.